The big story these days around Kentucky is Jayson Tatum, a freshman, was given an offer by John Calipari. First time we've heard of a young guy since maybe Billy Gillispie. Is there any risk in offering guys, elite players, this early?
There's a little bit of a risk. You don't know how the kid's going to progress and how much better they're going to get. But I think Jayson Tatum has the makings of an elite talent, a guy that already has other elite offers too. So it's not like just Kentucky's throwing one out there. But there's a little risk. But this is a guy that's an elite talent. They've also offered Harry Giles, who's another elite freshman. So these elite guys, I think they're going to go after early, especially if the recruitments pick up early on.
Is this a change? It seems like it's something John Calipari hasn't done at Kentucky, at least. Is this a change you think in his philosophy, or are these just players that kind of dictate getting in early?
I think they're players that probably dictate getting an offer early. I think it probably shows that the kids' recruitment is starting early, and they feel like they need to get involved. With the situation with Harry Giles, Coach K, Roy Williams, and John Calipari watched him at an 8 a.m. game this past week, and that's absurd. You don't ever see that. A 14, 15-year-old kid having those three guys at the game. So I think they felt like they needed to get involved with those kids early on because other schools were.
Now, last week we talked about Devin Booker, a guy who is new offer from Kentucky. A lot of talk about Duke's involvement with him and some commitments they've had. What is his interest with Kentucky, and how much of a factor is Duke in this?
Well, I think they're both involved. Duke just took a two-guard in Grayson Allen last week. I don't know how that's going to affect Devin. Devin's also very different. He's one of the best shooters in the 2014 class. And, it's not just Duke and Kentucky. He's got offers from just about everybody. Michigan's involved early on. His dad played at Missouri. But Kentucky went in and offered him last week. They're going to try to make their pitch and try to get him on campus. And they probably will get him on campus. How deep they are in with Devin Booker, we don't know yet.
We asked some fans to submit questions on Twitter to ask you recruiting questions. One of them came, the battle between Emmanuel Mudiay, Tyus Jones as elite point guards. Which one of those guys you think fits better for what John Calipari wants to do?
I think that's a tough question, TJ, because I think they're both so great, and they both have different strengths and different weaknesses per se. If I'm John Calipari, I'm happy I'm taking either one of them. I want either one of those guys. Tyus Jones has great feel, great pace to his game. Kind of reminds me a little of Chris Paul. Emmanuel Mudiay is bigger. He's almost 6'4". He's more powerfully built. Very good vision, athletic, likes to play up and down, can really see the floor. They both have their advantages. Tyus is probably a little bit better of a shooter than Emmanuel. But if I'm John Calipari, I'm happy with either one.
And there was some talk this week, Jahlil Okafor, Tyus Jones being a package deal. Do you think, because of what Cal does, that potentially Tyus Jones and Mudiay could play alongside each other, kind of similar to what they did with John Wall, Eric Bledsoe? I had 2 point guards in that system.
That'd be pretty surprising to see those two go to the same school. Actually, I'd be pretty shocked if they went to the same school. I think they both want the ball in their hands.
Yeah. Another question we got was, assuming Dakari Johnson's on the roster in 2014, Karl Towns is coming in, how much will that affect Calipari going after Cliff Alexander and Trey Lyles, and who do you think is maybe the guy that Cal wants the most out of them?
Well, they've recruited both of them. I think Trey Lyles, if you already have Karl Towns, I think Trey Lyles probably fits the system a little more. He's a tremendous post scorer. Cliff's more of a center. And a guy that's not really going to score much with his back to the basket, but he's powerful and very tough and a great rebounder. But if you look at the past couple classes and the guys they've taken guys that played the same position in the past. In my opinion, it's probably Trey Lyles, but I certainly wouldn't blame him to take Cliff Alexander. They're both top 5 players.
And we can't go any recruiting update without asking about Andrew Wiggins. Anything new with Andrew Wiggins in the last week or so?
No, nothing new. Still no timetable. He hasn't set a date on when he's going to make his college choice. It's still 4 schools. He talked with them all a couple weeks ago, right before the deadline, and we're going to kind of see where he goes from here. It's dragged on a little, and I'm not sure it's going to end anytime soon. It's all up to Andrew, so we'll see.
All right, Evan. Thank you very much.